Please, Dr. Fouad, join us on the stage.
Thanks, Ahmed. Morning, everybody. Yeah, it's a totally different aspect we will talk about. So just to switch your mind from what we were discussing about, what we are doing in our daily basis, to something will make our session a little bit interesting. Something take you away from your daily dealing with registration, regulations. So we will talk about legal aspects. As you know, as a scientist or pharmacist, when we are talking about something, it's totally from another perspective or demand. So we will sometimes we will doubt what the benefits of protecting. So maybe the title for my talk today is something a little bit away from what we deal with and what we discussed yesterday and in the early morning. So I will talk today about how to protect beauty products. When we talk about protection, which kind of protection? So today I will discuss deeply the most common two types of protections, two intellectual property types of protection that they fit with our beauty products in general. First of all, I just want to highlight something about what the connect between protection, intellectual property protection, intellectual property rights, and with our topic actually. When we talk about pharma industry, cosmetic, aesthetic, actually we are talking about regulated industry. When we're talking about regulated industry, we have to think about the protection. Why? Because when we talk about regulated industry, regardless types of the nature of the product, we are talking about regulation. So we are talking about authority, and you have to disclose a lot of information. So when we are talking about disclosure, so disclosure means you are giving all your thoughts, procedures, innovations, documents to a third party to be evaluated. So when we are talking about disclosure, so you have to take care about protection. So what should I give? What should I keep as a secret? So in some cases you can't keep something for a secret. Normally you have to disclose everything, but there is an area that you can keep something in a secret, so in order to protect. So now just we will link together the what we call it regulation or regulatory patent or regulatory intellectual property linkage in pharma and in pharma industry and in the beauty also industry. First of all, I just want to give you the FPLE in front of the US FDA, the Fair Packaging and Labeling Act. It's very clear that US FDA requires cosmetics to have an ingredient declaration. So if you would go to any cosmetic product in the US market, you have to, in order to gain the registration and MA certificate, you have to disclose the ingredient declaration, contain a list of all products' ingredients. So you have to submit the ingredients, and this just to make the consumer have information that they can use this information to compare your product or your product with another's product in order to make informed choices. So in order for consumers, in order to evaluate your product, they have to you have to disclose the ingredients. But at the same time, it's written in the FPLA that the regulation of this list of ingredients must not be used to force company to disclose the trade secret. So they keep some gray area, this gray area just to keep your secret away from competitors, away from others, not to write your or just to copy your product actually. So for example, fragrance and FPLA regulation in front of the US FDA, you don't have to disclose the ingredients of the fragrance. You can just keep it as cosmetic, or for this cosmetic labels you can leave it as ingredients or fragrance, and that's it. So you don't have to put all your ingredients in order to protect your product. So here we will come to the most important part. So if I have to disclose how I can protect my innovation, my idea, my formula, my product. So this is the debate that if there is regulation, so you have to disclose most of the part of information to the authority, because the end user is a human, so this must be regulated. So when I disclose all the information or some of the information, what the protection level, can I keep it away from others, competitors, or others that they can take my efforts in research and development and innovation and easily copy it once I disclose exactly the ingredients with the percentage. Sometimes you have to put the percentages. So what kind of protection I can apply? What it's applicable and it's lawful mode of protection for such industry? Since there is, as we mentioned, there is a disclosure, so there is zero protection. You have to disclose everything to the authority. So in this case, what kind of protection I can take it from any mode of protection? Which mode of protection I have to apply to my products? These questions you have to ask yourself before going to register your product. So there is as we seen in the last session and yesterday actually, there is no harmonized one regulatory platform for any product. So there is a level of regulations. There is if we call it every time, if there is medical indication, you will face heavily regulated system. If there is no medical indication, you will have a light regulated, but still you have a level of regulation. And if there is a regulation, the most important thing in the regulation that there is a third party that you have to disclose your information to this party. So disclosure always is when you go to disclosure, you have to protect your disclosed information. So the question here, what the preventive protection action? So before going to registration, so what kind of preventive action that if you disclose your information, if you disclose your ingredients, how I can be safe before disclosure? This question you have to take. It's a policy, the IP policy in any company. They have to design the mode of protection that it's applicable to their products in their designated markets because it's territorial thinking and territorial strategy, actually. So, intellectual property. Is it the best scenario for protecting your aesthetic and cosmetic products? The beauty products, actually, since they have a limit of regulation, as we discussed yesterday and today, there is a level of regulation. So these regulations ask you all the time to disclose a level of information. So since it is regulated, so you have to protect it. So why intellectual property? Because there is no other mode of protection. Which kind of intellectual property? We will discuss the most common and used mode of protection and models of protection in our industry. Intellectual property rights actually engaged all the time with creation, how to protect your idea, how you protect your innovation. If you want to protect your innovation, you will go to intellectual property. There's many types of intellectual properties. Some of them we call it industrial intellectual property, that they are referred with types of industry because there is an economic part of such industry, and some of them is not related to economic or to industrial purpose. So we call it industrial intellectual property, like patents, trademarks, and some of them is not intellectual property. It's not industrial intellectual property. In our industry today, we are talking about intellectual property mode and beauty products. The two modes we will discuss is the patent and trade secret. But the first, why I have to protect my product? So this is the question, that should I have to apply intellectual property protection to protect my industry, my product? Actually, yes, you have to. It's your choice, but why you have to? Intellectual property is a costly mode of protection. Yes, I know, but sometimes this mode of protection guarantee monopolistic right, or let's say exclusivity right, that you can recoup your investment. The investment you put it in research, development, innovation. The investment you put it in time, the investment you put it efforts, money, financial investment you put it with in your research and development and innovation, and your creation, actually. You have to protect it. Yes, I have to protect it, so I have to choose a mode of protection, allow me exclusivity time to recoup my investment, and also it will give me exclusivity right to exclude others from the market in order to take the market share. Intellectual property rights considered as intangible assets. So if you wanna acquire any company and you want to just evaluate the market value for any company. So there's tangible assets, you can count them, you just can list them, evaluate them according to the market price, and then you will know the net value for this, let's say, company or entity, and then you can make a fair price or whatever. So, but if there is an intellectual property engaged with this company, then it will become a part of the calculation, because the intangible asset, the most important part of intangible asset creation, and the creation, the only way of measuring the level of creation is intellectual property rights. And as we know that the patents, trade secrets are known as intellectual property. Besides, actually, you know, sometimes we call it the branding and imaging strategy. So when we talk about the well-known trademark, well-known marks in our industry, in cosmetics there is a number of well-known. How they reach to this level of well-known? So by branding, right? The most important part or the most important mode of branding is intellectual property. You can use intellectual property rights in order to brand your product and to brand your name. So it is sometimes you can use it in litigation in order just to rise up the name and to highlight your brand. So it's a branding and image mode of protection. As we mentioned, there is a two. We will discuss today the two intellectual property rights applicable to beauty industry: patent right and trade secret. Trade secret is known as intellectual property mode of protection. And today we will just compare, and by the end you can decide which mode of protection is suitable. It's better in your company, in your entity, for your idea, for individual also. So I will go through the patent and then I will just reflect on the definition against trade secret. So when we talk about patent, patent is a legal document granted by an authority in any country. So it's territorial right. So this legal document gives the patentee, regardless his nationality, the right to exclude everyone in this country from using, making, selling, offering for sale his invention. So it is a legal document, give you the right to exclude. This is the definition of the patent. And it gives you the right to use if using your invention is not infringing other rights granted in your practice. So this is the clear definition for the patent right. Patent right, it's a legal document you granted from a government entity, give you the right to exclude others from use your invention for a certain period of time or term of 20 years from the filing date. This is what we call it the patent. And in the patent, as you can see, there is a moral right. In each patent document, you have to disclose the inventor's name as recognition, appreciation, and also it's their right to be, for their name to be disclosed. The most important theory and paradox actually in patent right, that how I can give exclusivity and monopolistic right to someone even if it's nationality away from this country. So they call it disclosure versus exclusivity. So I will give you exclusivity, but you have to disclose your invention. Why you have to disclose your invention? Because when you disclose your invention, you will enrich the level of innovation in my community. This is the what we call it Neath paradox. This is the most important theory according to it, the intellectual property right become enforced in most of our countries. So it's called in disclosure versus So you have to disclose all your information. Patent right is a right become by formalities, starting from filing patent application, then examining the patent application by the patent office, and after prosecution there is an oral proceeding, and there is a negotiation regarding the claim of protection, and by the end you will take the granting or rejection according to the national law, the national intellectual property law for each country and each designated market you applied your application in. So it is rely on filing system. The patentee, as a patentee, if I have a patent for my product in any country, I can give a license for someone else, a manufacturer in this area, to produce my product, to sell it, to make it, offer it for sale, import it, export it. So I can assign my right in the patent to anyone else. He can use according to the contractual agreement between both parties. The product life cycle. So this for the patent you have to just keep in mind when you want to protect your drug product. The life cycle, one of the most important indicators, you have to put it in your equation before you're going to file a patent or before you're going to protect your product by patent protection. And as I said, it is an intangible asset. I remember when we went, I was a part of a team. We went to make an acquisition for a company. The tangible asset was equal, let's say, 50 million US dollar, and the intangible asset were equal 20 million US dollar. It's just papers. So, and each patent, you can calculate the value exactly, and there's many schools of valuation any patents. So you can end by this patent equal 1 million US dollar, and this patent equals 0. This is how you calculate the intangible asset. Then you will, and also there is some intangible assets with negative values, because it's costly. If the reward is less than the cost you put it, so in this case it takes a negative value. On the other hand, let's talk about trade secret, and then we will compare between the patent protection and trade secret protection as both intellectual property mode of protection, and then you can decide which mode of protection is more suitable to your company, your country, your product. Yes, trade secret, it gives you the right to execute, because all the time when it is still your trade secret, you can exclude any others from mimic or from make exactly your innovation. And it gives you right to use. Yes, it gives you right to use because you own the procedure, you own the secret, that it is applicable to your product. But it is not a legal document. It is a procedural, in-house, in your company, in your entity, and you sign all your employees as an NDA or in a solid, very solid agreement between you and your employees in order to keep your secret safe. Term, there is no time limit for your trade secret. It is live whenever you protect it. So there is no time limit for your trade secret, and there is no moral right. Like, there is no innovation or innovator that you can disclose, give him his moral right, give him his appreciation for his innovation and his creation. There is no moral right in the trade secret, and there is no disclosure. Just you can make everything together and put it and make it in bulk and tell your employee to take from this solution and complete according to this procedure, and this is completely the secret that you are not disclose all information to keep it secret. No social knowledge benefits. When we compare to the patent document, you have to disclose everything. You have to disclose your innovation from A to Z. And even lately, the United States stopped using something we call it best mode protection, that in the patent body, the United States, the USPTO United States Patent and Trademark Office was asking any patentee to put the best mode of making their innovation in order to enable someone else to repeat or to redo the same invention without any undue experimentation. So this is the doctrine of best mode. This is the doctrine actually from disclosure in the patent right. You have to disclose everything to make any others or to enrich the innovation level in any others in the same community. So in this case, you help the social knowledge benefits by pushing a lot of, or by disseminating and sharing a lot of innovation and a lot of innovative ideas to others. And also this will save time and cost for other innovators not to redo your investment, not to redo your innovation, and to start from the end results, or the end results you got, and build up more. There is no formalities for trade secret. No filing system, no trade secret office like patent office in each country. No, it's your internal procedure. And assigning and licensing. Theoretically, yes, you can assign your trade secret to someone else with very solid agreement between you and them. But in fact, it is rarely used. But it is applicable. But you can think about that, how I can give him the secret, how I can be sure that he will keep my secret as is, not disclosed for any other competitors. And the product life cycle is very important measure also. And it is not countable as intangible asset. No one will be able to evaluate your trade secret and give you a number. And when we are talking about intangible assets. And the most important, or one of the examples for trade secrets, I think all of us, we use it in daily basis, that Coca-Cola or Pepsi, it is protected till now by trade secret. No one knows the ingredients, so it's left to the last. And no one knows the ingredients. There is no social knowledge. There is no disclosure. There is no moral right. We don't know who invented the Pepsi recipe or the Coca-Cola recipe, and it is not disclosed anywhere, and they have the right to execute. There is no other cola, and they have the right to use. the product life cycle is more than the life cycle of the patent. It's protected for hundreds of years. So this is the main difference between trade secret and patent. So just keeping in mind what the benefit from this one, what the benefit from this one, what the advantages, what the disadvantages, we will discuss it later actually. So but just keep in your mind that your drug product either be protected by trade secret or patent. So as the most important two mode of protection, there is just something I have to mention it all the time regarding the economics of intellectual property rights, because as we know, the intellectual property rights become directly related to, let's say, WTO, World Trade Organizations, especially TRIPS agreement. Lately, it's part of or pushed by WTO. So because it is trade-related industries or trade-related rights actually. So if we will talk a little bit in economy actually. So what we call it in the patent versus trade secret, that each time you have to be careful to the dead weight loss. This is what we call it the social cost. Your product in the market, there is price, there is a cost, price of the cost, and there is a price of selling. And the difference between these prices is the social cost. The dead weight loss, it's a portion of the community, is the people that cannot be served with this product because they can't pay for getting the product, even if they are able to pay price higher than the cost price, thus cannot be served. This is, in the first example, this is purely monopolistic market. And this is become from the patent right. The patentee tried to protect his product by patent right, take monopolistic right for 20 years, make it in very high price in order to recoup an investment which he paid for research and innovation, and then the price become, and then until the term of the patent will expire, and then the price become lower than this price by entering the competitors to the market. But within the 20 years, there is a number of, there is a social cost. There is a number of the people in this country where the patent is protected and whereas the monopolistic right is applicable during this time, there is some people cannot pay for this product because he made it very high price in order to recoup the investment, and unfortunately some people they cannot afford this product because they cannot pay for this product, and it's really costly for them. And by the end, sometimes the country they will cover the cost, and this also will be the social cost on the country, and sometimes they cannot take even this, or they cannot pay for this product, and it's not deliverable at all. And in another example, you can see if there is just one competitor. Just if there is one competitor in the market, the dead weight loss triangle, the triangle, this one, the blue triangle, will become much smaller, and the social cost will be much lower than the one in the patent right. So the trade secret as a mode of protection, theoretically and practically actually, it is reduce the social cost. Again, it's your decision where to go, but here just we will compare between the patent and the trade secret. So if we went to protect your product by the patent right, be aware that you will go to the maximum price you can do in order to prevent competitors from entering to the market, and this will make you the only player in the market for 20 years until the life patent term will be expiring. So in this time you can recoup your investment by selling your product with a high price and with a monopolistic right. And the trade secret, no. In the trade secret, you will go with lower price because there is some competitors will be in the market and they use trade secret like you, or they can use the patent rights, or they will use the patent rights, but this will reduce the social cost. Now we will compare between advantages, disadvantages, and this actually for you as innovator, for you as research and development, you are going to produce, you are going to develop a beauty product, and you are looking to protect this product. So which mode of protection I have to use? Which types of intellectual property right is applicable and it's suitable to my product, to my country. So then I will give you some clarification and some advantages and disadvantages from each mode of protection. And then you can measure, and then you can just apply these advantages with disadvantages to your product, your situation, and then you can decide. So the patent right, the most important thing that it's a legal document. It's enforced by law. All of us, our government signed the Berne Convention, Paris Convention, TRIPS Agreement, and this obligates the country to put the minimum mode of protection in their national law, that the patent right is enforceable in their country. It's enforceable by law. So if there is any infringing or violation, you will go to the court, not to the authority. So any violation, any infringing is a sue case. You will go to litigate the infringer. And also, if we want to invalidate the patent, we want to revoke the patent, we are not going to the patent office, we are going to court. So it's a legal document, and this document is enforceable by law. This is the most important thing. So your protection is guaranteed by law in the patent. But actually in the trade secret, no. It's by your internal procedure. And if someone breaches the internal procedure and the trade secret is, let's say, disclosed, you will go to the court, but you will go to the court and you will make a sue against somebody. But by the end, your invention, it's not still a secret. It's become public, or it is disclosed to someone else. This is the main change, or the main difference between patent and trade secret regarding the legal document. Patent right is registered. You go to the patent office, you apply for patent by patent application. Your application will be examined and then either rejected or granted. So there is a formalities in order to grant a patent. Trade secret, no, there is no formalities. It's your secret, you keep it, you write it, or even don't disclose it by written, It's your right to keep it by any way you like. It's better or more protectable for you. And actually, sometimes it is not disclosed even to the team they are working with you. In the patent, your invention had to be disclosed exactly in the way that enabled someone else to do your invention without under experimentation. This term we call it enablement requirement. The enablement requirement, sometimes some patents revoke according to enablement requirement. So the most important thing that you have to disclose your invention in a way enable someone to repeat your invention. So you have to disclose your best mode. You have to disclose exactly what the procedure you did it in order to grant the patent. The trade secret, there is no disclosure. What about the product life cycle? If your product life cycle is less than 20 years, so when you innovate such product, you think that it will live for 5 years, 4 years. So in this case, you have to take care about the mode of protection. If it's less than 20 years, I will go to the patent, right? If it is more than this, like when they make Coca-Cola, they thought that it will live to the last, so they went to trade secret, not to the patent, because you can imagine the Coca-Cola or Pepsi, when they invent their recipe, they grant it as a patent. Now all of us can make this recipe in-house or anywhere, but exactly Pepsi and exactly Coca-Cola. But they choose trade secret because they thought that such a product will live longer than the patent term, 20 years. The advantage of the patent law is a moral right, that if I am a patentee, let's say, or an inventor, my name will be disclosed in the first page in the patent document that as inventor. So I will take the recognition. I can be, let's say, known as inventor. So everybody will recognize my name as inventor. But in the trade secret, there is no moral right at all. The most important business part of the patent, that you can assign the patent and you can give a license for someone, American, let's say, patentee, they protect their product in Emirates. They can assign the right for a company in Emirates to produce their product, and they will share the revenue. And this is the beauty of the patent, that the right, you can assign the right and you can license using of the right, and you can stop licensing and assigning using of the right according to your business model. But the disadvantages in the patent, that it's costly mode of protection. Filing a patent costs a lot of money, because you can imagine that if you want to protect your product, you have to protect it every market you are interested in selling your product. So we are talking about Europe, US, MENA. So these alone, the cost is thousands, maybe more than thousands, because as you know that you have to disclose or you have to submit your patent, you have to pay the fees for the patent examination, and then you have to pay maintaining fees for your patent every year. So you have to go to the patent office and submit, or you have to pay the maintaining fees to guarantee protection for the next year. And the fees become more and more each year. So it is something you have to take it in your consideration once you want to go to the patent protection of your product, because this cost is, as we said, that you have to pay for protection, and it is intangible asset by the end. But sometimes there's actually an article in the United States in 2019 that mentioned that 90% of the protected and granted patents are not used. So these patents, 90% of the patents with zero or negative economic value. Because the first important, or the most important part, we take it when we are evaluating the patent, that where it is protected, what it is protected, what the value of the protection, or what the value of the product protection in the market. So if this patent protect one product, you have to see what the sales of this product, and then you will return back to calculate the value of your patent. And as we mentioned, the disclosure is a social advantage, and the product life cycle, if it is more than 20 years. So, because it is ended by monopolistic right, ended by 20 years. If the product lived more than, so this is the beauty of the patent right, that you put something good in the market, lived more than 20 years. You took your right to recoup the investment in the first 20 years, and then it's become a pure generic, and this way will make benefits to everyone. Again, it's territorial right. Before going to this is typically what we do in Bara'a. We do a patent landscape. It's a very important thing. You have to understand it. So where it is protected, there is no worldwide patent. The patent is a territorial right claiming protection in designated country. You have to go to their patent office and you have to apply for protection there. If you grant the patent, so your patent is enforced in this country only. It's not enforced in any other law. The trade secret, as we mentioned, the advantage is that you can protect your drug product to unlimited time. And it is the most important thing, that the product life cycle is independent, because if you don't know what the product life cycle, you don't know if your product will live 1 year or 20 years or 50 years. So the trade secret will be a solution. And if the cost, there is no cost for the cost, only the cost for just keeping the secret is a secret, and there is no registration. The disadvantages, the risk of disclosure. There is no moral right. If you die with your secret, no one will know your name. And there is no assigning and licensing, typically. And there is something very important, and it is commonly used, that sometimes you start your business with trade secret. If you saw that there is a huge value for this one, you can convert it to a patent, because still it's not disclosed. Then you have to disclose it, and you can recoup your investment within 20 years. And you just recognize that my product maybe will not live more than 20 years. So if I disclose it in a patent right, this will make economical tool. I can sell it, I can assign it, and this will recover my investment much easier. And this is last slide. So when we talk about you as inventor, you as a company, what to use? Someone asked me, should I go to register my invention or my formula or my ingredients to register a patent right, or I should go to trade secret? So in order, I don't know. I just give me some information. I will guide you to take the right decision. And you, if you want to think about where to go, what to protect, how to protect, which is the suitable mode of protection for my company, for my product, and it's not part of a policy, it's part of your product. So some companies, like the big, well-known companies, they protect some products or some products by trade secret and some products by patents. Both are available, you choose where to use, when to use, what to use. So the most important thing that you have to take it in your consideration that the nature of your product. This is what we can, if I disclose everything, the reverse engineering, it's well known procedure of copying, actually. So this is the most important question I ask I ask it to myself when I'm going to just to give my consultation to someone, whether he go to the patent right or trade secret, the inverse engineering. So if I put, this is my product, I put it in the market, if someone take it and try to just reverse engineering, just take the parts away and collect them back, and then he tried and it works, this is what we call it reverse engineering. If he can do this, I can't put it as a trade secret. Because if I said, this is my trade secret, and I put the product in the market, anyone take it, reverse engineering, he makes similar, that's it. He can take the market if his sales and marketing team and his, let's say, financial solvency is better than mine, he will take the market from me by reverse engineering. I will lose my innovation, and I did my efforts in research, development, and innovation in order to put this product in the market, but I chose the wrong mode of protection. So the nature, if there is a huge potential of reverse engineering, I will go to the patent right. Because patent right, I can litigate, I can go to the court, I can enforce my right by law, and I can prevent someone from reverse engineer my product, and this is the most important thing, that the nature, what the nature of your product, and what the product life cycle. This is also very important actually in our days, as we know that the technology is actually updating and it is quickly change our life. So just be careful that first, if it is patentable or trade secret, you can be protected by trade secret, then and the product is, let's say, can't be reverse engineering, and you want to go to the trade secret, just think about the product life cycle. Because if the product will live more than 20 years, yes, go. Because in this case, you will guarantee that it's not be public domain, and it will not be reverse engineered by 20 years. It's more than 20 years. But to be honest, sometimes if it is related to technology like device or something, the technology is updatable, so, and it's changed all the time. And I don't believe that in 20 years still will be value in the market. So why go to trade secret? I can go to the patent, because the patent is, you can sell it. It is intangible asset. You can, licensing, you can sell it to, or you can make a partnership. It is negotiation too, to be honest. So just the product life cycle, take it in your consideration when you want to protect your product. And financing. If I'm talking about myself, if I'm an inventor, I don't have enough money to protect my invention by patent protection everywhere. And even sometimes I have just the let's say, the investment or the financial solvency that they can help me in make it in a small or produce it in a small market volume and marketing profile. But the demand is much better than, or much larger than this demand. I can afford it. So just be careful that you have to pay a lot of money in order to protect your product by patent. But also, if you own the patent, you have a marketing tool that you can sell it, and you can license it, and you can share the profit. So it is you have to make an equation with most important three variables actually: the nature of the product life cycle, and then financing. If there is someone can invest, we call it 50-50, 50 investment in the product, 50 investment in the protection. Especially in our industry, the regulated industry, and pharma and non-pharma, like beauty products. So you have to just to be sure that you have to invest in protection. You have to put a lot of efforts in protection, and then you choose which mode of protection you will use. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Darras, for this wonderful speech. So, Fouad, as Dr. Fouad concluded his speech now on the session, the panel is open for discussion and questions. Please, if you have any questions, please ask.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. My question is related to trade secrets and focusing specifically on the cost to keep it a secret and the risk of disclosure. This is something that in the EU we are experiencing, is the cyber theft of trade secrets. A couple of years ago we had a copy or still a document. With the digitalization now everything is online, and we know that the cyber theft is a real challenge for manufacturers and ecosystems. So at the moment, and I believe that in the US it is even more, in the EU it accounts for 60 billion in losses by cyber theft of trade secrets. So I would like to know your view on that. If the cost to have a trade secret could be higher than expected when you have to implement specific systems to ensure cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, also it is very important to keep it in your mind that you have to pay for protection. So trade secret is a headache. Actually, you live with a headache of keeping your secret as a secret. So and the technology sometimes it's changing much faster than what you think, and then maybe you will lose your innovation. In our industry, actually, and there is the common law and civil law in the US as a common law country, as UK also, they a little bit go with inventive more than with or with economy more than with human. So the regulation everywhere for trade secret, it's very minimal actually. But they keep trade secret as part of intellectual property right, and they keep for the national for each country in their national law to put just this word that trade secret is one of intellectual property rights, even without regulation. So because the implication and damages and everything, you will go into the court. So the court will make it, will make the case, and they will measure the damages and damages according to the level of violation. But trade secret is a part of intellectual property right. It is enforceable, and the cost, it's costly, but the cost you can, according to the level of protection you will make it for your secret, you can make budget for protection, but not like patent. Patent you have to pay everywhere, and you have to pay maintaining fees. Once you didn't apply for maintaining fees in time, you will lose your protection.
Hello, Dr. Fouad. Thank you so much for your informative presentation. Actually, I would like to ask about the disclosing of some information like the formula of certain product. It's understood that we can disclose it with the authorities upon request. But what if we have to disclose it with a third party or a notified body? What protects the company from maybe leaking the information of the formula? What is the legal action or consequences if, in case the information of the disclosing of the formula may be leaked from the third party or notified body? What's the legal action that companies can take against such actions?
Thank you. Actually, the disclosure, this is why we said that regulated there is a patent linkage between regulation or regulated industry with intellectual property right. Intellectual property right, it's a mode of protection for any invention, product. You have to disclose a unique information about it to a third party, regardless this party is a legal party, is a regulatory affairs party, for approval, custom, for clearance, regardless. So when you want to disclose a lot of information, you have to protect it. So and this is actually, they wrote it in a lot of books that intellectual property right or patent right is made for protection pharma industry. Because actually, it's a litter of industries. You have to disclose a lot of information in order to grant the marketing authorization, in order to marketing your product. You face a lot of regulatory fences in order to put your product in the market. So this level of regulation, this equal to the level of similar level of disclosure. And this disclosure sometimes, when we cook in our house, sometimes we have our secret. My mother has secret in doing something. So, but if you have to disclose everything by regulation, so you have to protect. Now, preaching the secrecy. If you claim protection trade secret, you have to put it in your intellectual property right in your company, and then you have to sign your employee, but you can't sign the regulatory because it is as a third party, it is well known at the damages and remedies. Actually, it is calculated by court and by the judge. You can go and you can claim damages because of breaching the secret, and it's easily calculated actually by just the sales calculation. So how much you forecast, obviously what the market share you lose it by inflation, and you can compensate this somehow. If the price by breaching go down, you can calculate, or you can claim another damages that